what's all this with Social Security? Are they has Elon Musk stumbled upon a big scandal or a major inefficiency?
Well, no.
Oh, okay. Next story.
Yeah,
All right, let's
yeah, no.
explain.
Yeah, no, he made headlines this week by releasing some numbers. Apparently, someone at SSA gave him some numbers, and he either didn't understand what they gave him or is deliberately obfuscating what they gave him. But essentially, SSA has been issuing Social Security numbers since the program was created, and there are over 530 million Social Security numbers. Now, when you get a Social Security number, everyone gets one. If you're a citizen and authorized to work in the country, they give you a Social Security number. And when you die, they retire the number and it's not reissued or recycled. And so that's why there's obviously 300 and something million people in the country, but there are 530 million Social Security numbers because this goes back to include all the people who've, lived and participated and subsequently died going back to the 1930s. Um, Now, SSA has been tracking these numbers over time, and as people die and they get reports of deaths, either from funeral homes or from family members or from the state, Bureau or state offices of vital statistics, they essentially indicate on the record if you are dead. And so, in theory, if you add up all the numbers that have been issued and you subtract out all the number of people who have died, you should be left with a number that approximates the US population. And the numbers that Elon Musk released, of course, don't do that. They don't reflect the numbers. The tally or the table that he released, I think it adds up to about 395 million people or something like that. And that's obviously 40 or 50 million more than the current US population. And so he thinks that he's uncovered some scandal, that there are more numbers than there are people. And moreover, most of the numbers have a date of birth associated to it. And when you look across the table, you discover, as Elon did, that there are apparently millions of people who are centenarians. And in some cases, they're 200 and 300 years old. And he thinks, oh, this is just terrible. What's going on? And what he apparently doesn't realize is that Social Security didn't even start collecting death data until the 1960s. And in 1983, they instituted what's known as the Death Master File, which is an electronic database where they try to collect death records from all the states. All of the states did not fully participate until just recently. So, there are probably, based on a rough back of the envelope, there are probably 50 million people who have died that SSA has no record of. They don't have a death certificate. They don't have, an official notice from somebody that they felt was credible to allow them to put on an individual record that the person was dead. And so, what Musk has released is a table of all of the numbers that are issued minus the number of deaths that have been reported. Well, we know that the number reported is way less than the number of actual deaths. Therefore, the numbers appear to be too large. And so he's trying to make out that there's this scandal that there are all of these people who are collecting benefits who are dead, when in fact the numbers that he has released are not the number of people collecting benefits, it's the number of Social Security numbers issued. So those are, two different universes.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
a really, really important point. It's not necessarily that all those numbers are connected with people collecting benefits falsely. It's
right.
they're
Yeah, I
numbers that
mean,
have yet to be retired, I
yeah,
guess.
the numbers simply haven't been retired because there's no official death notice that the SSA received and recorded and reported on the records. I mean, interestingly, the Office of Inspector General has looked into this question a couple of different times. They issued a report back in 2021 and they issued another one in 2023. And they said, well, they had at the time reported that there were almost 19 million centenarians um, in the Social Security records, and they looked at them and how many of them were actually collecting any benefits. Um, and it turned out that they identified 44,000 centenarians who were collecting benefits. Now, according to the Census Bureau, back in the 2020 census, um, there were roughly 80,000 centenarians. So, there are fewer centenarians in Social Security's records collecting benefits than there are, according to the Census Bureau, the last head count done, during the decennial census, than there are centenarians in the country.